Good morning, Cedars Church family, coming to you again with another word of encouragement to start your day. In First Peter, chapter 5 talks about how the devil prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. And I've heard people say, yeah, well, he's a toothless lion, but I beg to differ. He's got some bite to him. He really wants to bring us down. And especially while we are in this time where we are shut down in our homes, there's a lot of things that we could do that can get us in trouble, that our thought lives can get past us. Things that we can end up doing that we wouldn't maybe normally do, as we maybe feel a little desperate, as we feel maybe tempted by some things in our lives. But First Peter chapter 1 tells us something with the devil prowling around like a roaring lion. First Peter 1 tells us that you who through faith are shielded by God's power until the coming of the salvation that is ready to be revealed in the last time. I'm going to take the second part first. That's what we call hope. We call that hope. As we are waiting for that coming of the salvation, as we have given our lives to Jesus, we look forward to. We have hope in the promise that we are saved. Not the I hope, but the hope, the forth-thinking faith that we are saved, and we depend on that salvation, and it is coming. But until that time, what do? Well, he says, Peter writes, that you, through faith, by your faith, that you are shielded by God's power. That word shielded is it's a very specific word. It's a military word used metaphorically here. And militarily, what that would mean is that if there was a city and you were within that city, that the guards that were posted around the city, that they are there to prevent a hostile onslaught. They are there to prevent takeover. They are there to prevent an enemy from advancing. And so he is our guard. By his power, we are guarded. Our city, our fortress where we dwell, that we are guarded by his power. And that's really a strong metaphor that's being used, how strongly he will that he will look over us and watch over us, how much he will guard us. But there's an interesting story. There's an ancient story you've probably heard about the fall of Troy. And in ancient Greece, the Greeks were attacking the city of Troy, and they sieged it for 10 years, and they couldn't get in. It was a well-protected city. But one day they had a ruse, and they built a big giant horse, and they put a contingent of Greek soldiers inside, and then they all sailed away. And then the people of Troy, thinking that they'd won, thinking that this was their offering, their gift, their present that they were being given by the Greeks for their having lost, they opened the gates and they brought the horse inside. Well, that night, all the ships turned around and came back, and from inside that horse, out crept a contingent of soldiers, and they began to open the gates. They destroyed the city. The Greeks came in, and they won the war in one fell swoop. Why do I bring this up? Because God is protecting us. He is there to watch over us. He is our guardian. He is there to be our shield. And yet, from inside the city, we have the power to take ourselves down, don't we? We have the ability to let things in spite of the guard. We have the ability to allow ourselves to be taken down when we don't rely upon our faith in Jesus Christ. When I look at Psalm 18, verse 2, the psalmist writes, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my Savior. My God is my rock in whom I find protection. He is my shield, my power, the horn of my salvation, which means the strength of my salvation. He is my stronghold. I love that passage. It tells us all about the protection, the refuge, the safety, the shielding that God provides to us. And even if you're thinking, well, I don't feel so protected, I'm stuck here in my home and all these things are coming against me, He is protecting your faith. He is watching over you. And sometimes we deal with sickness, sometimes we deal with struggles, sometimes we deal with pain. But even that is shielded from a full tidal wave of struggles coming our way, because God is protecting us and watching, allowing only certain things to come into our lives to help us grow. So He is our shield. Let's let Him be our shield. Let's let our faith be strong instead of allowing things into the walls that would take us down. He is our shield. He is the strength of our salvation. Take that with you today. God bless you. Have yourselves a great day. And remember, you are loved.